بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. المرحلة الثانية قسم اللغة الإنجليزية مادة ELT. Today we have this topic: what makes a communicative classroom communicative. Okay, what makes communicative classroom communicative? How to make it communicative? Four closely related factors contribute. We have four here that contribute to making classroom communicative. Okay, these four factors that make classroom communicative. These four factors. Let's read them. First one, reduction in the centrality of the teacher. This is number one. Okay. Number two, an appreciation for the uniqueness of individuals. 3, chances for students to express themselves in meaningful ways. And last one, choices, both in relation to what students say and how they say it. I will zoom it. So these four factors. Number one, reduction in the centrality of the teacher. So here, number one, this is number one, centrality, is reducing the central and traditional position of the teacher. Remember, we talked about this point, whether the teacher is the center of the class, center of instruction, or center of attention, like Kathy and Yushi, if you remember. So this is what? Number one, reducing, yani diminishing, okay, decreasing the central position of the teacher. Okay, so this is number one. However, what do we mean by when we mean reducing? When we say reducing the central position of the teacher, what do we mean? Do we mean that we delete the position of the teacher? The teacher has no role, or what? No. This doesn't mean that the teachers have to give up control of the class. You see here? Not to give up control of a class. But the teacher can maintain control of what goes on in the classroom while still giving students freedom to initiate, to start communication among themselves and with the teacher. Okay? So, in brief, in summary, these points talk about the teacher role inside the class. And the teacher role should be what? Reduced, diminished. Okay? And the students should what? Should be given chance to speak with each other, to communicate with each other, to communicate with the teacher. Okay? So, this is very important. In other words, the teacher here what? Is a guide. Just a guide. Okay? And the students who speak more, the teacher should speak less. This is always we say that the teacher should speak what? Should speak less, but the students should speak more. They should communicate, they should speak with each other. We should give them, we as a teacher, we should give you students chance to speak, chance to think, chance to communicate. We should not delete your mind. Okay, let me put it in this way. We should not put you in a position that you are just an audience. You are not an audience. You are audience and watching the players in the stadium, in the pitch. No, you are players. You are the players. You should play. Okay, not we as teachers. Not only the players. Okay, we are coaches. I am coach. I'm like Zidane, and you are like my team, Cristiano Ronaldo, Marcelo, okay, Luka Modric, okay, Courtois, etc. So you have to understand it in this way, that all of you, all the players, they play with each other, they pass with each other, you see, and what they communicate with the coach. The same thing here, students with each other and with the teacher. This is the point. This is a very important point. Number two, we will go to number two. Genuine communication is enhanced if there is what? in appreciation for the uniqueness of individuals. This is number 2. Uniqueness of individuals in the class. In the class, the uniqueness. Okay, what is unique? Each students bring unique language learning and life experience. Of course, each one of you, each student has his own experience, has his own beliefs, okay? Everything, concerning learning, both successful and unsuccessful to the class. So you bring with you experience, life experience, learning experience, as well as feeling about this experience, joy, anxiety, fear. As teachers, we need to be what? Sensitive. You as teachers in the future, when you will be teachers, you have to be sensitive to each individual's background and affective state. Okay, what is the background of the students? To create classroom atmosphere conducive to communication. So we as teachers, we have to what? Create great or suitable atmosphere for the students. We have to know the background. We need to understand and accept each student. So we need what? To accept. We as teachers accept the students. We have to understand them. And sometimes this is harder than one might imagine. Okay, so this point number 2 in summary, it means what? It means we as teachers, we have to appreciate the uniqueness of individuals. Okay, because students, when they come to the class, they have background, they have experience, they have unique learning. Okay, so we teachers, we have to what? We have to appreciate their work, their life, their background. We have to be sensitive with them. We as teachers, we have to create suitable relaxed atmosphere for communication. تقدر تكتب دين الملاحظات اللي جاي ألخص لك إياها. Okay, you can write these notes. Also providing chances, number 3. So we give chance for students to express themselves in meaningful ways, meaningful ways contributes to a communicative classroom. Okay, so we as teachers, we have to give you students chance to what? To communicate, to express yourself. You have to express yourself, not just audience, silent, sitting silent, doing nothing. This is wrong. You as students, you have to what? You have to express yourself, because you have mind, you have brain, you can think, you can read, you can understand. Okay, so you have the ability. You as students, I am not different from you. All of us, all human beings are the same. All have what? All have what? Mind, brains. They can think. Okay, they can express themselves. So teachers should what? Give chance, provide chances for students to what? To communicate with each other, to express themselves, to give us their opinions. What do you think? What's your opinion? Okay. Students need chances to listen to each other. You see, express their ideas in speech and writing, and read each other's writing. Okay, مثلا عامر, ناظم, فاطمة, زهراء, Suhad, okay, Ahmed, for example, they should express themselves. They should, for example, express their ideas, and when they speak or when they write, we should give them time and chances to write and to express. For example, write an assignment. What do you think? Your opinion. Okay, and they should read each other's writing. For example, you have to read the comments. What each other say about something. Negotiation of meaning needs to be what? To become the norm. Okay, it should become the norm. لازم يصير النوم ثانية يصير كأنما. While negotiating, students need to chances to ask for and receive clarification, confirm their understanding, ask and respond to questions, and react to responses. You see here all the same idea. The students should be given what? should be given chances to speak, to write, to express their ideas freely, to negotiate with each other, to talk with each other. If true negotiation of meaning is going on, students will be fully engaged in using English to understand the meaning intended by others and as well as to express their own meaning as clearly as possible. Okay, so this is the idea of this third point, that what, in summary, students should speak with each other, should be given a chance to express their ideas freely, communicate with each other, should respond, should send and receive clarification, feedback, all these points. And the last one, this is the last one. Negotiation of meaning also implies that students have choices. You have choice as to what they want to say, to whom they want to say it, and how they want to say it. So you have chance. So when you want to express your ideas, when you want to negotiate, when you want to talk, you have what? Choices. And the choices, you have choices. As what they want to say. What do you want to say? As you like. You can read sources, and it's up to you whether you want to give this, to give your opinion about this point in different ways. You can give. You can write about this point, for example, A, or you can choose no. This A is not suitable. You can go to B or C or D. So you have more than one way to express, to say about something. So you have choices to what they want to say, to whom they want to say, and how they want to say it, with whom you want to negotiate, to communicate. This is the 4 factors. You see, we have these 4 factors. They are very important and they are very easy. Second topic: what roles are native and NEA native English speaking EFL, ESL teachers expected to play? Okay, what are the roles? Okay, what are the roles that we as non-native speakers or near-native speakers, let us say, or native speakers expected to play? Whether you teach in AK-12, okay, it's in school here, it means 12th grade, EFL, ESL adult, or language institute, you will, whether in school, whether in language institute, sorry. Yes, so you will play what? You will play a variety and different, many roles. Okay, you have many roles as an EFL teacher. What are the roles? Here we have so many roles. You can just read and understand the roles, very easy. For example, you can be drama coach. You see here the teacher's roles. هيدوار الأستاذ، يعني شوف الأستاذ كم دور يأدي. How many roles? For example, drama coach, puppet maker, creative writing specialist, folk singer, mime, photographer, cross-cultural trainer, public speaker, counselor, film critic, poet, storyteller, discussion leader, team builder, grammarian, jazz chanter, reading specialist, error analyst, gaming specialist, values clarifier, computer program specialist. مثلا واحد يقول شنو ستارت كمبيوتر، شلون يعني شو نسوي بيها. Now we need, so now I need computer, I need to make videos for you. Okay, لازم تكون خبير انت بالكمبيوتر. Materials developer, etc. Joke teller, joker. Yes. Language tester, test. You see, all this you need to play the role. You can play all these roles. Can understand, just understand this. Understand. As the list shows, teaching is multifaceted, and much of the complexity involves learning how to assume roles that capitalize on our ability in English, while we take on roles that contribute to creating interaction in the classroom that's meaningful for both teacher and students. Okay, so this is not important. This is important. Roles related to English language abilities, language authority, cultural informant, model English speaker. Roles related to the ability to create meaningful interaction, needs assessor, classroom manager. Okay, classroom manager, text adapter, entertainer. See, this is the roles. You see how, what are the roles that the teachers play? Okay, ESL, EFL teachers are expected to play inside the class. Roles related to English language abilities. We say here, we said what? We said roles related to English language abilities. Here we have explanation of it. The first letter is not photographed. ما صور تصوير هذا. خلينا نشوف الحرف الأول شنو. Yeah, one role, so it says one role we are expected to play is what? Language authority. Language authority. We are expected to explain what? We are expected to explain complex rules. We are expected to explain. We as teachers are expected to what? Explain complex rules of English grammar. You see here? For example here, such as the difference between static and dynamic verbs, or adjectives and adverbs, present simple and present continuous. You see here? However, this role is consonant with our native or near-native intuitive ability to explain the nonsense of English, such as how emphatic stress changes the meaning of a sentence, as I went there, or I went there, or I went there. So here we have examples to explain how language authority that the teachers play inside the classroom. For example, teachers should explain. For example, if you want to explain grammar, can explain the rules of grammar, rules of continuous, present continuous. For example, adjectives, adverbs. This is the point. Or stress here, when you focus on one word, focus. For example, you say, I went there, or I went there. I. So you focus on I. Okay. This is we as teachers explain inside classroom. We are asked to explain the rules of speaking. For example, when a speaker of English say I'm sorry, as opposed to excuse me. So this is the job of English teacher. Explain, for example, rules of grammar. Explain how to say sorry, how to say excuse me, or what speakers should say and do during social situation in different cultures. So we need also, as teachers, we have to explain about culture. We have to tell the students that in this culture you should say so and so. In English, for example, it is okay to say put yourself in my shoes. يعني in Arabic يعني معناته ضع نفسك في حذائي. We need to tell the students that in this culture, in English culture, it's okay to say, English speaking culture, it's okay to say put yourself in my shoes. يعني it means for them, يعني it means what? It means put yourself in my position. Put yourself in my position. خلي نفسك بمكان. So we as teachers, we have to tell the students about cultures, different cultures, so such as at dinner party, or when scheduling an appointment with a doctor on the phone, okay. So the same point here. For example, we tell them that, for example, British people are on time punctual, يعني مواظبين على الموعد exactly. Not in Iraq. For example, in Iraq they tell you I will come to you after 1 hour. They will come to you after 1 day. Okay, they tell you, for example, I am on my way, but he just woke up. Most of Iraqis, not all of Iraqis, of course. So we tell the students that this is culture. The culture is different here, about time, about dinner, what do you do when you eat. You see? Sometimes we are expected to explain the fine differences in meaning in reading as well as in rules of writing. Okay, how to write good paragraph, use translation to connect paragraphs and here the same idea, the whole paragraph, the same idea. Which is the idea that English teachers should explain for their students, explain the rules of grammar, for example, explain about the culture, etc. This is in gist. What is the summary? شنو السمري مالتها هاي؟ summary إنه teachers should explain for the students they play which rule? Authority language. How? They explain the rules of grammar, for example. They explain differences in culture. Okay, this is the gist. Students just يعني زبدة. Students also expect us. شو يتوقعون students؟ كنا الأولى. This is number one. Number one, students expect us to explain the rules of grammar, the differences between cultures. Okay. Number two, students also expect us to speak English with them. احنا طلابنا شو يتوقعون؟ يتوقعون نحكي لهم عربي، المفروض نشرح لهم عربي. غلط طلاب. No. إذا لازم طلاب بيهم also expect us to speak English with them. We have to speak English with you. Because why? Because you are English students, not Arabic students. To model how it is used to express meaning. Okay, and how to model language, how to use it to express meaning. So this is number two. For example, some students are curious about our use of humor. Humor يعني معناها سخرية. Okay, or lack of it. For example, some students are curious. They want to know about us, how we use, for example, humor, how we use jokes. Or some students, they observe how some teachers lack. يعني lack means they don't use a lot. Little, lack. يفتقر. And it's appropriate use. What is the appropriate time to use joke? It's very important. And as well as how we display non-verbal behavior. Non-verbal behavior. Something which is connected to body language, facial expressions. This is non-verbal. We have verbal and non-verbal. Verbal. Now what I am saying, now I'm talking. So this is verbal. Non-verbal, it means body language. Body language signs, using fingers, using your fingers, using your head, facial expressions, eyes, lips. So this is what we mean by non-verbal behavior. Non-verbal behaviors. In addition, some students expect us to use samples of our speech and writing as a model text for them to study. You see here? For example, students sometimes ask me to pronounce a word. مرات يجي واحد من الطلاب يقول أستاذ pronounce this word for me, because the students look at the teacher as a model. يعني أنتوا إن شاء الله مصيروا teachers. طالب ينظر لكم, they look at you students as model. Model يعني like native speaker. فيجيك الطالب, they come to you, they say please pronounce this word, say this word, how do you pronounce this word حتى ياخذها من عندك اللفظ الصحيح. Or a sentence, how do you say this sentence. Okay, they attempt to approximate pronunciation. They want to imitate us. So this is the second point. جاي سجل مصطفى. This is our suffering. ها معاناتنا. As native or near native speakers. As native or near native speakers, we also are expected to take on the role of cultural informant. And I talked about this, just the point above. Cultural informant. Students ask questions not only about language behaviors, which is a normal distance to stand from a stranger in Ireland. What do you say when you greet someone for the first time? So this is important, culture. Okay? How do you let a friend know you are angry with her? But also about cultural values, beliefs, assumptions. Why do Americans say they value equality but then discriminate against each other? What is traditional about Australian? What are, for example, the norms and customs and beliefs in Iraq? Okay, what did they do in Iraq? For example, Arba'iniyah. So these are what? These are culture. So we need to know about these things. Students, here students ask about this. For example, if I am teaching English language in institute, usually students ask, what do they do, American, for example, or British people? What do they do if they have, for example, Ramadan? Do they have Ramadan? What do they do, for example, if they have wedding party, حفلة زواج? What do they do? مثلا عريس وهاي. What? Okay. What do they do, for example, if they have funeral, جنازة? What do they do if they have graduation party? So these are cultures. These are cultures, and culture very, very important. Very important in learning language and dealing with language. For native, well, yes, students also ask questions about socialization, as it takes place in education, family life, friendships. So social, about life. What is the dating like in the United States? Could you explain what goes on in a typical American family? What do best friends do together in your country? Okay. They ask about this. What do they do, for example? What do they do in Iraq? What do they do in Eid? What do they do in Ramadan? What do they do with the friends? Okay? When they go out, for example. This is about culture. For native English speakers, هنا راح أتكلم عن how to answer these questions. Answering such questions is not easy, because most of us are never asked this question in our communicative. The same is true for non-native speakers who study English in English-speaking countries and who are asked questions about their culture that are equally difficult to answer. This is not important. The idea of this, that teachers, of course, when you ask even native speakers about these questions, it is not easy for them to know. They have to know more and more about culture, even their culture. Sometimes some people, they don't know more about their own culture, so they need to know about their culture. Okay, I will finish with this. We arrive at role related to creating meaningful. Next time I will talk about this, so please read this. It's very easy. Try to summarize the ideas, and if you have any question you can ask. لخصوهن ذني واضحات البيانات قدامكم. جاي اشرحها بالتفصيل، عيدها أكثر من مرة، ترجم إذا ما تعرف، وجاي لخصتها كمان واتهمني يمك ولخص. It is very easy. إذا عندكم أي سؤال تقدر تتركب تعليق. Thank you so much. See you next time. Goodbye.